Hey guys, I just got this outdoor portable water heater from CAMPLUX. It's going to let me have hot showers while I'm camping, so let's jump right into it. The first thing we need to do is a little bit of assembly, namely attaching a couple of hoses. But the unit does come with directions, and the fittings on the water heater are labeled, so it's pretty easy. You will also need 2D batteries to power the igniter, and these unfortunately are not included. I wanted to get to know the water heater a little bit better before I took it camping, so I'm going to run a couple of tests. First, I'm going to test how much water the unit uses in 1 minute. During this test, the water heater will be supplied with water from my camper's water system, powered by a 3 gallon per minute, 50 psi water pump. First, I tested the unit on the lowest setting, and then repeated the test for the highest setting. I measured the amount of water that the water heater put out on each setting, and the results are 0.574 gallons per minute on the lowest setting, and 1.59 gallons per minute on the highest setting. Now to measure the propane consumption, I weighed the propane tank, then hooked it up to the water heater and ran it for 3 minutes. Then disconnected it and weighed it again. Unfortunately, I didn't have a scale that was sensitive enough to measure the difference in the propane tank's weights, so all I can really say is that the unit uses less than 1/10 of a pound of propane for 3 minutes of use on high or low settings. And the last thing I was curious about before I took the unit camping was to know how much it weighed. The total weight of my setup, including the water heater, hose, and full 20-pound propane tank, is 49 pounds. The water heater and hoses alone weigh 12 pounds. All right, so this is the temporary setup that I've come up with for the water heater. I didn't want to permanently mount it yet since I haven't had a chance to test it. It needs propane, so we have the propane bottle back there that it can hook up to. And we'll also need a fresh water source, so we'll be hooking it up to the spigot coming out of our rear bumper. It didn't come with a hose for the water source, so I'm using this short garden hose. But it did come with this propane line with a regulator on it, so that'll be able to just screw right onto our standard 20-gallon propane tank. All right, so to use the water heater, process looks something like this. I'm gonna undo the bungee and gather up my hoses, and then take the unit out to the awning. And then I'm going to attach the unit to the skyline with a carabiner. Okay, now I need to hook up my hoses. So untangle those and run the water line over to the spigot. And then pull the propane out of the storage spot. And that is hooked up. All right, now for the shower head and my shower floor. All right, the shower head came with the unit and has a quick connect fitting on it. Rest that right there. My shower floor I actually found floating in the ocean. Thought it would work good for this. The water heater has 2 dials on it. One controls the amount of propane being burned, and the other controls the amount of water flowing through the unit. I start off at the coldest setting, which is full water pressure and minimum propane. Then I dial in the amount of water or propane being used to reach the desired water pressure and heat. This is my first time using the water heater to shower. The air temperature is in the mid-50s and my water tank is not insulated. Under these conditions, I found that I was content with the water pressure near the lowest setting, but I wanted the heat cranked as high as it would go. I like the way the shower head has different spray options and a shut-off switch built into it, but the shut-off switch is a bit cumbersome, so you really need to grab onto the shower head and push it quite hard to get it to turn off, and even then it still leaks. All right, now that I'm all fresh and clean, we've got to take the shower down and pack it back up, which is pretty much the reverse order of when we set it up, with the added fun of trying to drain the water out of the hoses and out of the water heater. So I'm going to start with the shower head. disconnect it there, and then open the valve on this side. Let the water run out. And I'm just going to leave that hanging for now. Then I'm going to shut off the valve for the water supply line and disconnect that. And then we got to drain that out. And there's also a thumb screw on here. Can undo to drain the water out of there. Not much water comes out, but the directions do warn that the water heater will break if you don't do this and it freezes. And then reinstall that. Close our propane tank and detach the propane line. Now then, put the propane tank away, back into its spot in the hatch. Then I'm going to grab my shower floor, shake the sand off of there. Alright, now I'll gather up my hoses and take down the water heater. And then that goes back in the hatch as well. And finally, the shower head. Now that I've tried out the water heater a bit and took it out camping, I'd say that it definitely works. It got the water to a nice temperature and put out a nice flow for an enjoyable shower, no matter where you take it. So if you're someone that considers a shower while camping a necessity, then this might be just the thing you're looking for. Personally, I drive a relatively small vehicle without large enough water tanks to be taking long, relaxing showers, so it felt like an overly involved setup and breakdown process to use the water heater when I was just trying to get soaped up and rinsed off. I also don't have an appropriate place in my camper to permanently mount the water heater where it could be plumbed into the water and propane systems and be given the ventilation it needs while operating, because it does produce quite a bit of heat out the top of it. These are concerns you would have with any water heater on the market that I'm aware of, so unfortunately I don't think a water heater is going to be part of my regular camping equipment, even though my overall experience with the CAMPLUX water heater was a positive one. If you do have the fresh water and space available in your RV to take advantage of the convenient warm showers this unit could provide, then I'd say go for it. Take a look down in the video description for links to get more information or to purchase this water heater. Those are affiliate links, and using them does help to support this channel. If you found this review helpful, then you may also enjoy this video. And as always, thanks for watching.